Welcome back to Adopted into Christ. This is part 3B. Part A was cut off because of technical issues, but I am back here. I am Kia Harris Toglin, and yes, I just got married, so I have a new last name. And I'll be talking about that actually in the next video. But for now, I wanted to cover the last aspects of the video from part 3. So in the last video, I was talking about my dad being on life support, what I went through in that process of experiencing my dad going through stages, health issues that I was not able to handle. I had depression, I had thoughts of suicide, and I was actually recalling the situation when I was thinking about it a few days ago. The fact that those thoughts of suicide, I brought those thoughts upon myself. I went to Vegas. I was invited to go to Vegas at some point, and this is fairly recent after things were getting worse for my father. I was invited to Vegas, and I remember we were on this really high floor, and I was looking down at the distance from where we were on that floor to the ground, and I just thought about jumping. Now, I had never had suicide thoughts before, and so I knew it wasn't of God. However, I didn't have the identity or an understanding of my identity like I do now, and so I kind of dwelled on that thought for a period of time. And eventually my dad passed away due to complications of a blood transfusion. And so he passed away. I was still in this state of depression. I was not understanding why things took place. And I was also in the moments of graduating from college. And so all these things were happening. My dad was ill. He had just passed away, and then I was about to graduate from college. I am thankful to God it didn't exactly affect my grades, but it was a hard time. I eventually lived in Long Beach with my roommate at that time in college, and then we decided to move out. And that's when I came back to Southern California, where I am from originally. I grew up here. And then I moved in with my sister, still pursuing medical associated things. And then I was introduced to an opportunity to volunteer for an internship, and I did that for a few months. I was able to shadow doctors and naturopathic doctor, physician assistant, which is what my goal was. My goal was to be a physician assistant. However, doing that internship, all the doctors were convinced that I should have been a doctor, and I eventually pursued being a doctor, a medical doctor. I pursued that. I studied for the MCAT, took the exam. As far as the score goes, no, it wasn't the best score. And I also learned in that process that I didn't want to be an MD. I wanted to be a DO. I applied to DO school. I applied to 4 schools, I believe, and I was denied from every single one of them. And I've been thinking back, I've been reflecting on the fact that I was denied. I applied to physician assistant school, didn't get in. That was after I graduated, and then a few years later I applied to DO school, and that's osteopathic medicine, and I was denied as well. So I was looking back on that, reflecting on why that happened. That wasn't meant to happen for me. Not that I don't want to pursue medicine anymore, it's just my perception of medicine and my desire for the outcome I want for the people that I'm going to be assisting and treating. I don't want it to be something that requires them to be dependent on pharmaceuticals. So, for example, if I was a MD, I would have probably been done by now or just about to graduate, probably in residency, but I would have had a conviction about the fact that I would be pushing out pharmaceuticals, something that eventually will take care of something temporarily and then it leads to something else. And I personally do not want to pursue something that does that. Not to say that doctors, physicians, medical professionals are not monumental to the health of the country, the US, to people and communities. I just personally feel that it is not something that I want to do. I do want to pursue natural medicine, and that is something I'm still in the works of doing, but that was not for me. So, after being denied medical school, I was torn, I was mad, I was not understanding what was happening, and so I actually decided to pursue and look up a master's program that only took a year. And that's when I found a few programs. I had interest in public health, I had interest in management, things like that. And I ended up finding a nonprofit administration program in San Francisco that I ended up pursuing, got a scholarship. And I actually had started my nonprofit organization, Dare Humanity, a few years ago, and so that lined up with my desire to start my nonprofit or continue my nonprofit and to enhance it and to grow it and develop it, because it was still something that I called a project. And I was actually thinking about that earlier, the fact that I called something that I know is full of purpose, the purpose that God destined for me, I called it a project because I was insecure about the fact that I wasn't aware of the nonprofit sector. I didn't have a lot of experience, and so just me reflecting on the fact that I kind of played down the fact that I'm doing excellent work in communities now in Haiti. When we started, I never thought that we'd be doing work in Haiti, but it has been such a blessing. So I started the 1-year accelerated master's program in San Francisco, and I graduated in 2018, and that was a blessing. I learned so much. I was able to apply things from that program directly. I was able to also let go of a relationship I had at that time, which was not for me, never meant for me. Actually, God confirmed that multiple times, although I was hard-headed, but then I asked him to confirm in dreams. He did that twice. And so I just want to say it's really important to one, you can ask God how he talks to you, and then two, you can ask him in the way that you want him to talk to you. So for example, when I was younger, I asked him to talk to me in my dreams because I knew that I would have no question about the content of the dream and what the meaning was, because I'm not awake, I'm not having my own thoughts that are getting in the way. And so having dreams is what he does for me. He talks to me in my dreams. He talks to me in a way that is very distinct and direct, and whenever he provides me with a dream, it's very informative. I often have to keep a dream journal because of how powerful these dreams are, and I know they're not just meant for me, but with the combination of fasting and consecration, which is basically laying down your life and doing it on a daily basis and surrendering to him, he will speak to you more directly than he has ever spoken to you before. The Holy Spirit will speak to you directly. And so that has been a blessing in order to make sure that I'm not doing things out of my own flesh. I'm not doing things just because I want to do them. I'm doing things because God told me to do them. And then there's also that obedience piece that comes into it. If we're not obedient to what he says, we're essentially holding ourselves back from the destiny he has called for us, because we're also holding ourselves back from the opportunity to bless someone and to establish his kingdom on earth. We're not supposed to just wait until we get to heaven to have all these blessings. We are supposed to have those blessings on earth. And so by being obedient, by surrendering to him on a daily basis, by seeking him on a daily basis, you can reach the full destiny that God has for you. So I graduated from that program 2018. That was August 2018, and that was actually the point in which I believe a month later, I went to Haiti for the second time. The first time I went was to go on a medical mission trip, which it was actually connected to that internship that I had the opportunity to pursue, and that was fully sponsored. And so this is the second time I went to Haiti, not knowing a lot of people, only knowing one person. I was introduced to a few communities, one in which we're still working with, and I was able to start the work of Dare Humanity in Haiti, which has been extremely life-changing. It has been a challenge. With all leadership roles, there are challenges. There's always things that happen behind the scenes when it comes to organizations or companies. But it has been a blessing to be of service to others, to always work on something that is not for the purpose of me elevating myself or me wanting the glory, when I can give God all the glory. And so that has been a blessing. I went to Haiti September of 2018, and I spent 2 weeks there, and getting to know and really having an understanding of the communities I was working with. Because when I went to Haiti the first time, I was in a resort. Nothing against resorts, but the fact is I wasn't able to have a true understanding of how the communities were living. I didn't understand the gravity of the difference and what a third world country is. And I also was in a place of insecurity, and I hadn't really developed into my identity at that point. And so going to Haiti for that second time by myself, only knowing one person, being able to connect with the communities, being able to step out and do something that God told me to do. He told me to book my flight, and I was reluctant to do it. I made up excuses. I said I was going to wait, but I knew I had to be obedient. And because of their obedience, now we're working with 2 communities, a total of about 3,000 people, and I am truly grateful for that. So that's the conclusion of Adopted into Christ Part 3B. I want to talk about what else manifested from that trip, what obedience led to from that trip, in the next video. If you have not subscribed, you can subscribe. You can also like and share this video with people who are adopted, even the people who are on the fence about God, want to know more about God, already following God, people who just want to hear someone being vulnerable and transparent about their life, and maybe have experienced passing of their parents, or just want to connect with someone. So subscribe, like, share, and I will catch you next time for, I almost said Fulfill Life Friday, which is something I actually do too, but next time for Adopted into Christ, Part 4, where I'm going to be talking about what manifested from that trip to Haiti for the second time.